Hello, everybody. All right, so first things first, I just want to ask how the audio is. I'm trying a little bit of a different setup today. I am not wearing my headset. I went back and I listened to the previous broadcast that we had on Tuesday, the live stream, and I didn't really like how the headset was crackly sometimes when I would move it. So I'm seeing if this is any better or any worse. So let me know how the audio is, if you can hear me. I have nice hands, thank you. These hands changed a tire today. It was quite the thing. We'll get to that story later. So, is the audio okay? Do I need to talk louder? Do I need to talk quieter? Do I need to change the gain on the microphone? Can you guys hear me? Hopefully. Good. Okay, so we got audio. All right, so that's good news. Sounds good. Oh, good. All right, so as you can see, I started to get ahead of the game this time a little bit. Cut some things out before the stream. Hopefully you guys are doing well. It's good to see you this evening. A nice Thursday night. We had a little bit of a storm roll through last night, but it didn't actually hit us. We barely got any rain. It rained quite a bit today, but not last night. There was a lot of red on the map. So, no real wind damage. It was supposed to be windy too, but we didn't really get any damage. So, pretty lucky about that. But yeah, so Tuesday's stream was an absolute banger. We had a lot of fun. The guys from RSS hopped on and were BSing with each other in the chat. That was a good time. So yeah, glad to see you guys this evening. Again, let me know if there's something that you don't like with the audio. I'm trying something new. Just put it in the chat and let me know. Alright, so how's everybody going? How's everybody's day going so far today? Can't wait to see. Yeah, that's the plan. I am going to try and get this thing done today, at least as far done as getting all the decals on. I might even get into the windows, the windshield, might put those on today as well. So trying to get this car done before the weekend so I can apply a clear coat to it and then move on to the next project. So I'm real self-conscious about the audio, so hopefully it's good for you guys. Hopefully it doesn't fluctuate and it doesn't pick up too much like the scissors or anything like that. But yeah, we're trying something a little different. I didn't really like having the headset on. It's really tight on my ears too. Should we back this up just a little bit? Yeah. It's tight on my ears too, and that kind of hurt. Streaming for like 2 hours, it gave me a headache after. So the story today is I had like 4 people at work tell me that I had a flat tire. And all right, we'll try that. I had like 4 people at work tell me that I had a flat tire and at lunchtime, and I went out and I'm like, dang, tire's flat, so I gotta go change it. So after lunch, I waited till like most people left because I was working 410s this week, doing a little bit longer hours, but having the Friday off. And so I think it was like around 4:30 or something, or 4 o'clock, and maybe a little after 4. I went to change the tire. There's a hole in it. So I don't know when that happened, but it had to be pretty close to work today because the tire sensor light did not come on at any point during my drive-in, only when people told me that the tires were flat. So yeah, it must have happened pretty close to work. But it is what it is. I do have a surprise, so to speak, to show you guys. A little, again, this is a behind-the-scenes stream, but I'll show you another behind-the-scenes thing that I'm working on as well. Another project that's going on that I've kind of been putting it off lately, just because I didn't really know how to do the next steps, but I figured out because I'm using my 3D printer, and I figured out what I needed to do for the next steps. So I'll show you guys here in a second. But yeah, glad to see you guys here. Hopefully everybody, can you hear the train? Is that picking up the train in the background? Did you hear that? That was pretty loud. We live pretty close to railroad tracks. It's not really too bad, but yeah. So anyway, getting this car done, finalized, so I can take it over to the RSS guys at Watkins Glen. Train o'clock, dude. It's always train o'clock over at this place. We got the train superhighway of Ohio right behind our house. So it's train o'clock all the time. But yeah, Tuesday's stream was so much fun. Hopefully we have some more fun tonight. Like I said, glad to see all of you here. I don't know if you guys saw the 250 subscriber post. That was pretty cool. So a little appreciation to all of you guys out there that have subscribed. It's kind of neat, this channel. 250 people have decided to join the Diecast Club and see what this channel is all about. So later on in the stream, once this is done, I'll show you guys the surprise that I've been working on with my printer. And like I said, I've been working on it for a while and I've been stuck kind of on one spot, and I finally figured it out a little bit. And so with figuring it out, I'm able to progress and take huge chunks out of it, because I set it to the side for a while, and I didn't want to work on it because I didn't know what the next steps were. Now that I figured it out, I'll show you guys here in a second, and I'm interested to hear your opinions. I could just talk about it. So last year at Martinsville, Hendrick Motorsports finished 1, 2, 3 in the Ruby Red. I think it was the 40th. Yeah, it was the 40th anniversary of Hendrick Motorsports, and William Byron won the race, which was cool for me, being a 24 fan. But Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson finished 2, 3. I don't remember if it was Larson then Elliott or Elliott then Larson. Should probably know that, but either way, HMS finished 1, 2, 3, and Lionel came out with the 3-car set that I purchased, and I want to build a diorama for. So it's gonna be like 8 feet long, 7.5 feet long, and everything's gonna be to scale. So these cars are 1/24th scale, and so I went online, I did a little bit of research, I figured out how tall the safer barriers are, the walls, how thick they are, how much foam is in between each safer barrier, because I'm sure you guys know, but the construction of the safer barrier wall at a racetrack is concrete wall on the outside with some foam blocks in the middle, and then steel tube, hollow steel tube for the main wall. So that's basically what the car would run into, is that hollow steel tubing. And it's a really genius design when you think about it, because when a vehicle impacts a solid structure, all of that inertia and all of that energy from the crash impact goes directly through the car and essentially to the driver. And any structure that's super rigid, all of the energy transfers from component to component without really dissipating that quickly. But with the safer barriers, when a car impacts those outer steel tubed walls, first of all, with them being hollow, that creates a little bit of give. And then also the foam blocks absorb a lot of that impact force and allow for a lot of that energy to be dissipated. Now, don't get me wrong, they're still hitting a wall at 160 miles an hour or whatever. It still hurts, but the impact force that the driver feels is a lot less than what they would feel on just if they hit a straight concrete wall or a solid concrete wall. So a really cool innovation that NASCAR has done over the past probably 20 years, a little bit over 20 years, because Dale Earnhardt, when he died in his crash, he went head on into the concrete wall, so it was not a safer barrier. And now I'm pretty sure most tracks have the safer barrier walls. I'm pretty sure Eric Almirola just found a spot at Indy that doesn't have safer barrier, which is crazy. That a national, touring series or a track that sees some of the biggest motorsports races of the year don't have safer barriers on every hittable wall. So yeah, it's something that is really cool, really innovative that NASCAR has designed and been a part of. So I guess while we're waiting for these decals to cure in the water, this is what I'm working on. So this is all 3D printed. Everything on here has been 3D printed. I got to work on making the top a little bit taller. I was trying to figure out how far the print bed would allow. So we got the safer barrier, of course. I designed everything here in SolidWorks 3D modeling software. So I did a lot of research online to figure out like the width of the wall, the height of the wall, the steel tubing. So as you can see, it's comprised of 5 steel tubes. Now for this particular diorama, they're not hollow. I mean, technically they're hollow because I didn't print it with 100% infill. I don't know if I could get a way that the light could show you the infill percentage. Yeah, you can kind of see it. So it's hollow on the inside. I think it's something like 15% infill. But yeah, so there are, what did I print? I think I printed like 10 of these. And so they're about 10 inches long. So maybe 100 inches overall. Or maybe it's 8. I don't really remember, but eventually I'll put all of those together and we'll have a big diorama of the Hendrick Motorsports 1, 2, 3 finish. And then my goal is to... Bowman finished 8th, so it wasn't like he was too far behind. So my thought process is I'm going to get the rest of the cars too that finished in the top 8 essentially, and put those on the diorama as well. So it's gonna be quite a long process and a long project to work on, but it'll be really, really cool once it's done. So, yeah, that's been one thing that I've been working on kind of in the background. Most of the things I've been doing are for other people. That's always how it seems to go. Like all the projects you work on are typically for other people. And then the ones that you have that you want to work on for yourself come last. So, and that's fine. I don't mind doing things for other people. I mean, that's a big part of why I do what I do, is for others, um, helping their diecast collections grow. But yeah, so I think today will probably be more of a laid back stream. I saw a couple other people streaming tonight, so some viewers will probably be in other places. My assumption is that the Sieg Racing boys are probably traveling to Iowa, if not already there. So they probably won't tune in tonight, but you never know. The race this weekend's at Iowa. I've never been. I don't really plan on going. I don't really know a ton about the track. I'm pretty sure Rusty Wallace designed it. I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm fairly certain Rusty Wallace designed the track, which is kind of neat. It's always cool when a former driver, kind of digs in and puts back and invests in the sport that kind of gave them everything. I mean, when you think about it, a lot of these drivers, NASCAR made them into superstars on a national scale. So, and a lot of them do give back with their time, some with their resources, some directly, like Jeff Gordon obviously works with Hendrick Motorsports now, but he did a little commentating. Clint Boyers, same thing. Kevin Harvick. These are all just recent drivers. Like back when I was watching NASCAR, Benny Parsons, Wally Dallenbach, they were drivers from before I started watching that were announcing. Even Kyle Petty got into it. I don't even remember when he started racing. It was probably in the 80s, I would think. But I think Kyle's last year, I think his last competitive year was like 08 or 09, something like that. So, yeah, it's just neat when the drivers decide to stay around the sport and kind of give back. Like Dale Jr., he does a lot with his podcast and whatnot. So, yeah, that's a cool aspect of it. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So this decal is a unique one. I always love the special decals that get put on cars like this. I'm not sure who this guy was, but he passed away and they wanted to honor him with the decal on the car. So it's really cool when you get to put these ones on, because like when Lionel makes cars or whatever, they typically don't put these special decals on the cars unless it's a race to win. So it's just kind of neat to do that for the cars that I'm working on. It always adds a little bit of extra, a little bit of special touch. So that's kind of neat. Interestingly enough, it was only on the driver's side. They didn't have it on the passenger side. And all the pictures that I could find, they only had it on the driver's side. So another unique part about the car, just like the Ford Performance logo, which we'll get to that in a little bit. But I'm hoping to get this car done today, get it nice and finished up. Again, feel like Bob Ross. Let's put a happy little decal here on the back of the car, just like that. Make sure it's nice and straight in the proper spot. 39. I don't know why Ryan Sieg chose 39. I don't know if that's always been his number growing up racing. But yeah, it's a unique number. I hope he sticks with it for a while. He's got 39 and 28 are the two Sieg cars. Yeah. Bob Ross. Painter of a generation. Bobby. So yeah, hope he sticks with 39. It's a unique number. I get it. NASCAR, you can't really retire numbers. I mean, 3 and 43 are the... It's a happy little decal, yep. 3 and 43 are about the closest numbers, in my opinion, that you could get to retiring. Only for the Cup Series, really. But even still, like, I don't know. There are not enough numbers in the Cup Series unless they start running triple digits, which is never going to happen. You essentially have 00 up to 99, and those are your choices. If you're only running double digits, which I don't think I could ever see NASCAR go into triple digits. They do make a lot of stupid decisions, but I don't think they would make that decision. So these decals are funny because I give it a white underlay so that it makes the white a little bit more opaque. It's kind of hard to tell. You can't really tell the difference on camera. They both look pretty white, pretty opaque. But in person, you can tell it really brightens the white layer up. So like for this one in particular, the only color piece is that little rounded triangle in between the SIAPs. So it doesn't really... Some decals, like I'm sure you've seen, like these ones here go on the nose. I mean, I put a complete white underlay underneath them because they have transition colors underneath those. So anything you put on top of another color, we don't want the undercolor to bleed through. So, I mean, we kind of talked about that a little bit in the last live stream with this whole color fade down the side from white to black and being hidden by this transition decal. So that's just good little tricks of the trade information. And when I designed these sheets, I knew that was going to happen. I knew I was going to need to at least double up the side decals because we have a split color and that line will absolutely bleed through just one layer. So if you guys were here on Tuesday for the stream, you probably saw it when I only had the one side decal on, but yeah, so things you just pick up. And like I said, since I designed the decal sheet, I know what I need, which is really nice, instead of having to go back and forth with a designer and say, hey, I need this, hey, I need... I've been on like multiple hundreds of email chains going back and forth with designers saying, hey, I need this, hey, I need that, hey, change this, hey, this is a millimeter too big, all that kind of stuff. So now that I have the capability of designing my own decals, it takes me a while because I'm a perfectionist, of course. I try to make everything as exact as I possibly can. However, it saves me from those email chains and waiting on responses and having days in between emails to get changes made and all that kind of stuff. So as much of a pain as it is to design my own decals, I love doing it. It's really fun. I don't know if I could be a graphic designer. Probably not, but you never know. Engineering, graphic designing, it's pretty much the same thing, right? Just problem solving, so to speak. I'm still happy about this nose, this hood decal. It looks fantastic. So what else do we got going on today? They're racing at Iowa this weekend. Austin Hill was suspended because he right rear hooked Almirola at Indy. That was a really bad look. NASCAR actually did the right thing in suspending him. I was really surprised. Typically, they don't make the best decisions, but in that instance, they did. I thought that was a pretty egregious, not necessarily racing maneuver by him. It's kind of ironic too because he apparently like a couple months ago, I guess, stood up in the drivers' meeting in the Xfinity series and was like, yeah, I'll mentor the younger drivers. Everyone was like, what? So, yeah, pretty interesting shenanigans taking place there. But it's whatever. So, we are a week and a day out from myself and a few others traveling to Watkins Glen. We'll be leaving next Friday to go out to the Finger Lakes region of New York, which I'm looking forward to. I just made sure my tickets were available for Sunday's race, which they are, so that's good news. I really hope when I put the clear on this car that it turns out really good so that I can take it to Mr. Robert and we can I can see his reaction when he gets this car. Put a lot of work into it. It's gone fairly smoothly. I don't want to jinx it, but up to this point I haven't really had too many issues with it, aside from when I put the clear over the paint. I had to put a second coat on because it was, the first coat was weird. I don't know, it was being strange. So I loaded up a second coat, and I mean, you guys can see this shine. Let's see, yeah, look at the light reflecting in the hood. Same thing with the back. So once I get the clear coat over top of the decal, see, the shine won't go on the decal because it's basically a matte finish. It'll look a lot better. And I'll post a video once it's done. Probably not next week, but the following week. I'm going to try and maybe get Robert's reaction when he gets the car. If he's willing, of course. I don't want to post anything that he's not willing to sign off on, which I totally understand. B-post decals. That one in the top middle, that white one, is also a special decal. So if we were to just do a generic Ryan Sieg Racing 39, that decal would probably not be on the car. We used to go to Michigan with him to watch the race. Who did we used to go to Michigan with to watch the race? Robert? I don't remember going to Michigan with a Robert. My memory could potentially be jogged, but I don't remember going with a Robert. I mean, I'm sure he was there a few times we were there. Shine. Oh. For some reason the chat seems like behind. Or maybe let's see. Yeah, chat's a little bit behind. That's all right. I'm still trying to figure this whole streaming thing out. I think it's going okay, but there are going to be improvements made. Like this audio thing. Hopefully it's working. Hopefully you guys like it. I know I keep harping on it and keep bringing it up, but a lot of people will put on YouTube and then just have it on in the background. So audio is like the most important thing for really anything, podcasts or videos or anything like that. If you don't really have good audio, then it's going to be a pretty big turnoff for most people. And I'm learning that. I'm learning that as we go. So, yeah, this side, this guy, this RD guy, is the one who designed the decal or the graphics for the car. This RCW, I think, is the company that wraps the car, and then Ford is the sponsor or the manufacturer of the vehicle. So, look at that. We're almost done. I said this is going to be a pretty short stream today. I don't really plan on going for too long. I still have to get tomorrow's video out. I haven't done that yet. So I'm gonna have to do that tonight, and I want to 3D print a few more of those catch fence pieces. See if I can refine my design a little bit. That's funny. Refine my design. To get it so the catch fence piece is one big piece that goes from the wall of the safer barrier all the way up to the top of the, let's see, what would you call it? The catch fence pipes or tubes, I guess you could call them. Oh no. We had a mishap. See, it's not always perfect. Gonna have to send in the rescue water droplet. Should I just leave it like that? I'd trip you out. Or if you had 3D glasses, you could see it a lot better. I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but you can see how, yeah, you can see it, like with the A and the P, how you could see the decal from underneath. And that's why just adding a second layer darkens or makes the top layer just a little bit more opaque. Like I said, these decals are pretty good quality. They're from Printed Decals in Georgia, I think, or Tennessee. I don't remember. I think I know they ship from Tennessee, but I think the parent company might be in Georgia. And they make some good quality decals, and they have some really good designers on the site too. So if you guys are looking for decals to be made, which probably most of you aren't, just judging by who I've seen in the chat, then yeah, they make some good quality stuff. So we got a few more to do. These always go underneath the hood, so that's I don't want to call it like a trademark because it's not really trademark, but it's something I always do for hood open cars that I make, is I put my decal underneath the hood, just as a little Easter egg, if you will, for whoever purchased the car. So we got the name rail here. On the real car, it's got a downward persuasion. It's closer to the cutout of the window than it is to the roof rail. So we'll put it down a little bit, pretty close to that cutout. And let's see, maybe a little bit lower. Don't want to make it too low. But yeah, it's pretty centered, but down a little bit. So maybe, and it is pretty horizontal too. It's not like some of these have a pretty wicked bend to them that kind of contour with the roof rail. But this one looks pretty good the way that it is. There we go. Oh yeah. Okay, passenger side name rail. I think it's cool sometimes for like charities and different things where they'll put like somebody else's name on the name rail. They used to do that like for the Father's Day race. They put their father's name on the name rail, or a few different things of that nature. I always like when they have special little random things, like I said in the last stream, when they do like the NASCAR green or the NASCAR salutes, and they put a different A-post decal on. I always found that interesting because whatever the diecast was made with typically didn't have that unless it was a raced version car. And most diecasts you get are not raced version cars because only one winner can win a race at a time. In case you didn't know that, you can only have one winner. One winner, 42 losers. I.e. losers for breakfast. Name that movie line for all you racing fans out there. Okay. If you get it correct, I won't give you anything, but you get a thumbs up. Lightning, yeah, Lightning McQueen, world's fastest racing machine. All right, so we'll flip this over. We'll put these underneath the hood. Welcome to the hood. I was doing a box logo, a big square that kind of went in the middle, but now I've Lightning McQueen. But now I've gone to these double diecast driven decals. Wow, that was 4 Ds in a row. 4D chess. We're playing 4D chess, everybody. Double diecast driven decals. Just for a little uniqueness to be added. And typically, like I've said before, you don't even open the hoods of these cars. Most of them stay shut their entire existence. So, and if you notice, we got these crazy fender flare looking things going on. I'll clean all that up before I get it done and sent out. But since we can just do it like this, let's see. It's kind of hard to get a good camera angle to do it this way. But the interesting thing about these under hood decals are the bracings that are molded or that are cast into the hood. You see, like that bracing there, this over here, and that one over there. You got to get the decal to contour over top of it, so that's where the setting solution is really nice. And then you just, when you look at it, can't really tell from straight on, but you can look underneath and there's the channel logo. So shout out to my my little sister who helped design the channel logo and the branding. Commission me to make a custom. I don't typically do that, but I'm open to conversations, let's say. Send me a message on Twitter or X, whatever it's called these days, and let me know what you're interested in, and we could have a conversation about it. I typically don't do that too much anymore. I only make them for like the teams and the drivers and the pit crews and stuff. But we could have a discussion. Depends what you want. I got a lot of projects going on right now, but we could definitely talk about it if you're interested. This decal, this big hood decal, is a little bit annoying because it goes past the hood on either side, so it will have to be cut. And you saw how loose the hood was when I picked it up, so we just got to be careful once we get it in place that we don't pick it up and flip it over anymore, because that will open the hood back up. We don't want to do that. Let's see. Yeah, so we got to bring this down a little bit so it's closer to the bottom middle of the hood. And we can use how far over the S's are. Interestingly enough, 2 S's on either side, one capital, one lowercase. Put a little setting solution to get the decals to contour right around these. These would be the tether brackets, I think. Oh, it's kind of hard to see on the camera. But yeah, and also the Ford hood has a little bit of a dip in it. So use that setting solution to get everything down into the crevices of the car, the body shape. Let me just make sure we're not going downhill. This is a optical illusion with the way that this design slopes down to the right, it's kind of messing with my eyes. But one thing I'll use is these brackets. Hey, Mr. Byte Speed, I see you followed me on X Twitter. So yeah, shoot me a DM and we could talk about what car you'd like or you're thinking about. But yeah, these tether brackets are very helpful to figure out making sure the decal is straight across the hood. I'll show you here in a second. I can't give away all my secrets, but this one's pretty easy. So see how the C and the P both just graze the corner a little bit there and there, and then they both go over top of the rivets that are in there. So I would call this pretty darn straight. Also, the other thing, so not only this being an optical illusion, but this having this capital S also throws it off a little bit, and the capital A, but nothing we can't deal with. We're semi-professionals here, semi-pro, if you will. But yeah, this is the last major decal to go on this car. We got one more, that little Ford Performance decal. Which, if you were with us last stream, you'll have noticed that the RSS boys forgot to put the Ford Performance decal on the passenger side. You couldn't message me? Maybe I have to follow you back. I'm not. Let me see here. Okay, I followed you back. Maybe it'll go through now. I'm not really sure how the whole Twitter sphere works, to be honest with you. I only use it to post like when I'm going live and stuff. So I just followed you back. Let me know if that works. But yeah, anyway, yeah, they forgot to put the Ford Performance logo on the driver's side, which is kind of funny. So yeah, this is the last thing we have to do on the car, aside from these window decals, but we can put those on after the fact. So let's pop that on there. Straighten it out. It's a little bit bigger than the S on the real car, and so we have it a little bit bigger than the S, and it is slightly closer to the S than it is the Goodyear. So we're gonna replicate that as best we can here. With that, I gotta be careful when I pick it up not to flip it over to open the hood up, because again, like I just said, the hood is pretty flimsy because I put this bracket piece underneath on incorrectly when I was putting it together. So we'll just do it like that, and that's us done with the car. So every decal that is supposed to go on the car, aside from the rear window decals, are now on the car. There we go. That's done. So we could take a quick look at it. Do a once over just to make sure everything's in its right spot. I mean, it has to be. I have no more decals to cut out. You know what? Look at that. I had these off to the side. The jack marker tape. So these go. Now here's the thing. Okay, so the interesting thing about these is when Lionel produces these cars, and I remember a poll on, I think it was on the forum like long time ago, because I've been around the forum since probably, it had to be around 2012 or 13 or something, but I never really posted. I just kind of lurked. But they did polls and asked the hardcore collectors, the guys on the forum, if you prefer to have, I just got your message, by the way. I'll take a look at it after the stream, if that's okay. And I'll get back to you. But they asked if the collectors liked having, first of all, if they liked having the jack marker tape on the cars, these pieces, and if they preferred having the actual cutout, because on the real cars they're cut out, so you can slide the jack underneath the car and jack it up for the pit stops. A lot of times the cutouts didn't match the real cars, and where they would place the piece of tape wouldn't match the real cars. So there was a long back and forth between Lionel and the hardcore collectors on the forum, and probably people internally, with whether or not they should even keep the cutouts in the cars or have it as a decal, black it out when they just apply the whole decal to the car. So I remember that. I wouldn't call it a controversy, but I remember that whole discussion going on, and unfortunately you can't really have both. You get one or the other, because if you want more detail in the cars and you leave the cutouts in, then they don't always line up, so that's a problem. But if you take that out, then you lose a little bit of detail that can be replicated with the decal, but it doesn't look as cool as having the actual cutout be missing from the car. So the trade-off has been a semi-hotly debated topic for the past, I don't know, however many years it's been, 10 years or so. While we're here, we might as well put the windshields and window decals on. So we'll just do that. And then I'll probably call it. This stream might be under an hour, guys. I got 12 minutes left to an hour. It might be under an hour. I don't know if that's some sort of record. I could probably look at my prior streams and let you guys know, but yeah, like I said earlier, I didn't plan on going too long tonight, just simply because I have other things that I would like to get done before tomorrow, specifically my video for everybody. Oh, and I hope you guys saw the 250th subscriber post that I made the other day. So actually, did I make it yesterday? It might have been yesterday. So if you didn't, go check it out. I put a collage of all different diecast custom and personal collections, and ones that I've made for people and their reactions and that sort of thing. So I put that out there, both on Twitter and on the YouTube channel, to just kind of say thank you. 250 people, that's a lot of people. I appreciate everybody that's, sticking around the channel, watching the videos, liking, commenting, all that kind of stuff. It helps out and gets the channel in front of more eyeballs. It's just crazy, 250 people want to hang out and talk about NASCAR Diecast. I know it's a pretty big industry, but it's definitely not as big of an industry as it used to be. So, getting back to the jack cutout thing, this one is pretty close to what was on the real car. So the real car was slid back a little bit further. It was probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the middle of the cutout was the middle of this rivet right here. So it slid forward about a rivet and a half on the diecast. However, I'm going to put the tape in the middle of the cutout because that's what looks the best. So it'll be a little bit different than what the real car looks like, because the real car, the tape is underneath the 9 pretty far back, probably, actually it's right under the rivet kind of. So it's going to be a little bit different, but it looks okay. And again, on the shelf, you won't really be able to notice or tell, and it's going to look just as good either way you do it. again, I'm a perfectionist of sorts, so trying to get every detail as close to the actual car as possible sometimes is my downfall. But I think in the end, all the cars always look as good as I could possibly make them. So, I say so a lot. Do you guys notice that? I don't know if you notice, but I've started noticing little things about the way that when I record my videos or when we go live. That looks pretty good, by the way. Even though it's not exactly 100% correct. The diecast in and of itself is not exactly 100% correct anyway. But, yeah. Well, see, now that I brought your attention to that topic, you may start noticing it more. Now, I've been trying to make a conscious effort to not use, like, filler words, filler words. I remember back to the public speaking classes, which I guess are paying off. Maybe not, because this isn't exactly public speaking, but it's so oh, you're talking about that. See, the chat must be behind the stream. Yes, I'm a perfectionist, big time. But anyway, yeah, it's better when you're doing public speaking to just let a little bit of silence linger, as opposed to trying to use a bunch of transition words like or and stuff like that. It's better to just have, a second or two of a little bit of silence. Never hurt anybody. On a stream, it's a little bit different because you want to be engaging with the chat the whole time or the audience. Well, I guess that's the same thing for public speaking. You want to be engaged with your audience. I do not like public speaking, for the record. So, these live streams are somewhat out of my comfort zone. That added piece of tape makes it look very, very nice. So the car is done. Now the car is done. Put that in frame. Move on to the windshield. I scraped all of I don't even know what you would call this, the prior decal off, and I'm just going to put my own decal on. The one thing I don't love about it is you're kind of in a box with the windows. The way that the decals go on them, you have to, see. Actually, it looks pretty good. I won't even complain. We'll just leave it at what it is. I'm not even going to complain because it looks good. But we put this white underlayer on first so that we can get a nice opaque decal once we put the top layer on. Put a little setting solution on to get it to contour nicely. Straighten it out a wee bit, just a wee bit. This side can go up just a hair. Oh, the other thing about under decals like this is if you stretch them or contour them in a specific way to get them to fit to whatever you're working on, it creates problems when you're trying to apply your top layer decal. And that sometimes can cause issues, especially if you're, if you're putting a large decal over an area or something and you stretch your under decal out, and then you have to, like, if this, how I did this whole side in one big decal, like if I were to pull and stretch the bottom decal out, then you'd see white lines behind everything unless I pulled and stretched the top layer. The problem with pulling and stretching the top layer is that's your main layer with your graphic on it, and you don't want to stretch that out because then it pulls the ink apart, and you can you'll see white bleeding through your top layer decal, and it's a whole big thing. That is a very unfortunate event. So you try, and what I've learned is I try to make all of the decals as, I don't try to pull them as much as I can help it. Like when I put the paper towel on to remove the excess water, I just kind of tap instead of like wiping, because if you wipe it, the friction between the paper and the decal will kind of, again, pull the decal, because there is still a little film of water in between the decal and the surface that you're applying it on, and that has less friction, kind of like a little like engine oil or something between the engine block and the piston rings or pistons, whatever. There's a thin film of oil that lubricates it, so it allows it to slide without creating friction. Friction is bad. Friction is bad for most things because it generates heat, and that's a form of energy dissipation. So you don't really want to be losing energy in some instances. I guess friction is not always bad, because if you didn't have friction, you would never stop. So tires need friction, and the bottoms of your shoes and stuff like that. But when you're talking about mechanical parts and machines, friction is typically frowned upon, and that's why there are different kind of lubricants and oils. Yep. Yepity yeppity yep. All right. We are 2 minutes away from an hour, and I am like 2 decals away from being done. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream this evening. It's been a fun one. Not as crazy as the other night, but still good. We'll get this first back windshield decal on. Windscreen, windshield, whatever you want to call it. Try and make sure that it's nice and centered up. This one's kind of a difficult thing because it has the adjustment holes in the back glass. So you have to contour it around them. And off stream, I'll cut out the adjustment holes. That way it looks nice and the way that it's supposed to. But for right now, I'm just going to add some softening solution to let it soften those decals up so they can contour nicely. Like you can see, that one just contours around the side. These ones in the back over the adjustment holes, we'll just let that soak into them for a little bit. I think that's pretty centered. Could probably go, see, and here's where I run into problems, because I look at it and I think it's close, but it could probably move just a fraction of a millimeter. That's pretty close to being centered. This one, again, is kind of an optical illusion with the way that it has the R.Sieg. It's a little bit of an illusion because it's not a uniform word. Use your illusion for all you Guns N' Roses fans out there. I don't really listen to those albums a ton, but Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. For all you late 80s and 90s rockers out there, of which I'm a fan. More a fan of like 80s. 90s were good musically. That was kind of like the grunge metal. I don't know what you would call it. Like, well, you also had the boy band era in the 90s too. 90s were a crazy time. I wasn't alive during the 90s. Well, for half of it I was, but the early 2000s, a lot of that culture spilled over. We'll put the windshield decal on here, the Xfinity banner with Ryan Sieg's name on it. Looks pretty good. yeah, for this one we don't want to pull it too much, but we do want to make sure that the decal's flat. We don't want there to be any bubbles or creases or anything like that in the decal. Leaves an undesirable finish. But at the same time, we don't want to pull it too far to whereas, yeah, see, that turned out pretty good. Maybe pull it up just a hair. Yep. So there we have the front windshield banner. And I'll trim away this top side. There's a little bit that's hanging over the edge of the windshield. I will trim that away ever so slightly once it's all dry and done setting. And then that'll look beautifully on the car. And we'll come back over to the back glass and we'll take our paper towel and we'll squish down where we had the jack adjustment holes. No, not jack, just the adjustment holes. You can see, yeah, there you go. You can see how it contours pretty nicely around it. See that little spot I gotta flatten out right there. But yeah, around the adjustment holes, wedge and track bar, raising and lowering of the chassis to help the car turn. I don't really know all of the technical stuff. I kind of wish I did and spent more time on that. That's probably why I didn't make it into NASCAR, because I never really paid attention to those sorts of things. Like what wedge does to the car, or raising or lowering the track bar. Which, I think if we look at this, I don't even know if it has it on there. Anyway, never mind. Some of the diecast have a track bar that runs across the back suspension. But yeah, so get that nice and done on there. Back glass. And again, for this one, I added a second layer of the white decal to make it a little bit more opaque so that we're able to see it better. Whoopsie. That's a problem. We're okay. Yep, looks good. These ones, see, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I'll probably put these windows on the car and then apply those decals. So maybe we could do that. So let's pop these in. Pop that decal in there. Flip it around. Pop decal window. Pop this window in here. Okay. I gotta remember to cut the trunk decals. On the real car, it stopped at the trunk where it opened up, so you can kind of see a little bit that body line. So in the diecast, it's just molded in. The trunk doesn't open. It's just molded in, so I gotta cut that decal away a little bit. But we'll cut these out. Yeah, I guess we'll go for a little bit. We'll get this thing finished up. We'll get it finished up tonight. I'm trying to think last time if I cut out the center piece of this. I probably did. I don't know where my X-Acto knife is, though. That's a problem. It might be upstairs. I might have to run upstairs and grab it. Because I don't think it's back there. I have my blades, but no knife. So I might have to run up and look for it really quick. Oh, man. Well, I'm glad you guys could join tonight. It's been fun. It's been, it hasn't been as crazy as the previous night. which is, I'm finding it to be very strange. Like a bunch of streams ago, I don't even remember what car I was working on, but like some random people just hop in, chat, you know, chat's on fire, they're talking, and then I never see them again. It's the craziest thing. Normally, if I'm watching somebody, I'm watching almost every stream. Now, the difference with me is I don't typically chat, so I totally understand, you know, the chat being pretty quiet, but most of the streams I watch are like multiple hundreds of people are watching, sometimes in the thousands. So the chat's constantly rolling, and I understand why whoever the streamer is can't keep up with it, because it's moving so fast. But yeah, so in my instance, like, it's just funny seeing some people hop in the chat. They're super active in one of the streams, and then you just never hear from them again. It's the nature of the internet, I suppose. It is kind of funny. I don't mind it. I'm not trying to break any streaming records or anything like that, but it's just things I noticed, things I've noticed. So we'll throw this on real quick, and then I'm gonna run upstairs and grab my knife so I can cut out those. Look at that. If you had epilepsy, could like shake that. Anyway. Do. Yeah, for some reason this stream isn't as popular. Everybody must be busy on a Thursday, which is fine. Everybody who's here, I appreciate you being here. No ill will, just because you're here. All right, there we go. Much better. A little bit more opaque. Easier to see. All right. I'm going to run up and grab my knife. I will be right back. Unless it's here. It's somewhere I don't see. I don't see it. Must be upstairs. Fun fact, I don't know where my knife is. That is the problem. Well, since I have my blades here, I could just cut it with the blades, but disappointing. Alright, well, anyway. I'll just try cutting it out with the blade then. It'll get pretty close. So, bear with me here for a second while I try not to screw this decal up. It's going to be a little off screen. If you guys can still hear me all the way over there. I don't know how well the microphone picks it up from this far away. I'm trying to talk a little bit louder. A little bit louder now. And I gotta concentrate so I don't screw the decal up. Because I only have one set of these. So, yeah, Here's that. Just cut that little piece out of the inside. Throw that in the water. Put these in the water. I'll cut this other side out. We'll finish this car up. Thanks for sticking around. Appreciate the support. I know we don't have as many crazy shenanigans going on today as we did the other day, but it's still good. It's still fun. Like I said, the Sieg boys might be out at the track already or on their way to the track. I don't know if they fly or drive. I think their shop is in Georgia, actually. I don't think it's in Charlotte. Ugh. We got it cut out. There's only a little blade mark on my finger from pressing it down. Not too bad. Oh, man. I'm ready to go lay down. Okay. So, I don't really know when they started running these window decals. They're interesting. I don't hate them. I don't necessarily love them. They're kind of a pain in the butt to put on the cars. Which is annoying. It's just another thing, another step that I don't love doing. But it is what it is. So I'm not going to complain. So you get this main decal section. And I mean, they do look good once I get them on the car. I'm not going to complain and say they look bad because they do look pretty good. But yeah, so window decal. And I will have to touch up around it a little bit of black, but that's easy. That's just a simple paintbrush. So that's the main section of the decal. Then they got these little, I don't even know what you want to call them, these little stems that kind of go up onto the body of the car a little bit, ever so slightly. So it's a goofy little thing, but it looks good. Kind of rounds out the diecast. Sticks off of the back window a little bit. And I will admit it does look good once you get it on the car and nice and tight and decaled down. It does look pretty good. So there's driver's side versus passenger side. So it does make quite a difference. And it looks good. I'm not going to lie. It does look pretty good. Still goofy to me, but whatever. So we'll throw the passenger side on and get you guys out of here. Going to do whatever you do the rest of this evening. It's been an hour and 15 minutes. Not terribly long stream. I was hoping it would be a little bit shorter, but that's okay. We'll get it wrapped up here in 1 minute or so. Again, I'm trying not to flip the car over because I don't want the hood to open and that decal to open. We don't want that to happen. So we just want to make sure that we're pretty close there and there. Go down a little bit. That's good. Yeah, almost good. Now it's good. Again, with the decal setting solution, we're just making sure that it sits in the window and fills all the voids, all of the little intricacies of the contours. We want that to look as nice as we possibly can. And we don't want any wrinkles in the decal. No wrinkles. Okay. Looks good. A little bit more setting solution for the top decal. The final one of the car, folks. Here we go to the last portion of today's events. Final decal. Bring that down over top of this one. Bring this down. Yep. Make sure we're in the right spot. There we go. And again, just as the driver's side, we want to make sure that we're putting the decal in the right spot. Just above the window. Just like that. So, that concludes the decaling portion of this car. I got to do a few touch-up things here and there. I got to work on a few items off camera. But overall, I think it turned out great. I'm hoping the clear that goes on it protects the shine and protects the decals and does everything right to it. Here we can pop these in real quick so that we get the full preview. But yeah, that's it, everybody. That's Ryan Sieg's 2025 Pocono Top 5 car for the Xfinity Series. Spray the clear and give an update. Will do. I can't wait to give this to him in a couple weeks, in about a week and a day or two at Watkins Glen. So yeah, I designed this decal sheet all myself with the help of Robert. He gave me the file and it turned out really, really good. Really pleased with the way that it turned out. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate the support as always, and an hour and 20 minutes in, we're gonna call it. So thank you, everybody, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.